What is going on, guys? It's Lazarus here, back with another MLB video. And I know it's been like a week between Corona, school, and working at a grocery store. My life has been crazy the last few days, but we're going to try and get through all that and keep pushing out the uploads. So today, what I have for you guys is the top 10 sleepers or underrated players that I think you guys should look out for. Now, these are guys who I believe are pretty damn good, but not enough people know about them, and they don't get all the credit they deserve. And in terms of Diamond Dynasty and whatnot, these are guys you should be putting your stubs into, because I think they'll be going up if the season actually ever starts. So without wasting any more time, we're going to go ahead and get straight into it. Top 10 sleepers, here we go. So the first guy we have on the list is one of the better players on the list, and that is Eugenio Suarez of the Cincinnati Reds, who for the last few years has been one of the better hitters in all of baseball, but the guy has gotten barely any recognition for it. And like I said in a previous video, I think he's finally dethroned Anthony Rendon as the most underrated player in all of baseball. Last year alone, he hit 49 home runs and had an OPS of 930. And I know it's the juiced ball era and whatnot, but 49 home runs is still pretty damn impressive. And for a guy that no one really talks about, that isn't just an all or nothing hitter either, it just doesn't really make sense why more people don't know about him. But I think we're going to continue to see him do good, at least for a little while. He's 28 years old in the middle of his prime, so I'm not sure if this is going to last for a very long time. But from what we've seen, he's a great player. The eventual 2020 season shouldn't be any different. Next up on our list, we have Paul DeJong. I probably butchered his name, but that doesn't matter. The Cardinals' middle infielder. And if you look on the surface of his 2019 stats, they don't look great, with a 233 batting average and a 462 OPS. But despite all that, he still put up a WAR of 5.3, and he's about 26 years old, essentially entering his prime. Now, I think he's a better player than those batting average and OPS stats suggest, but the main thing putting him above so many other shortstops is his defense. In 2019, he had 26 defensive runs saved, which is very, very good on defense. And his main problem at the plate has been plate discipline and just exit velocity in general. He needs to get that up a bit. But if he works on that plate discipline and continues to play fantastic defense, he's only going to get better. And I think you guys should definitely look out for him. Next up on the list, we have Bryan Reynolds, one of the few bright spots on the Pittsburgh Pirates, an outfielder as well. And he put together a very nice 2019. With a line of 314, 377, and 503, with only 16 home runs but a WAR of 4.1. Now, the power numbers aren't the best, but this guy seems like he's just a good, pure hitter. Still really young, so he's only going to get better, in the power department at least. But again, another guy who I feel like not many people know who he is. I've only really heard of him during the 2019 season, but I didn't really know, if he was actually good or not. But doing the research for this video, found him right here. And he definitely seems to be one of the more underrated players in all of baseball. And like the other guys, if 2020 actually starts anytime soon, we should see him continue to be good. So watch out for him to make some more moves. Now, it might be slightly controversial to call Yoan Moncada an underrated player or a sleeper because of the insane amount of hype that's been surrounding him ever since he was signed by the Red Sox a few years ago. But 2019 was the first year where he was really great, and granted, he's still only 24 years old, which if you think about it is absurdly young, but he showed the type of player that he could be in 2019, and I think it's only a glimpse at the potential that he has. He hit 315, 367, and 548, with 25 homers and a WAR of 4.8, a career year for him so far. But it wasn't really widely recognized. I want to say part because he's on the White Sox, and it also part because none of those numbers are amazing. They're just really good. But he's going to have a year where he hits like 340, where he hits like 45 home runs, and that's going to get him on everyone's radar. So go ahead and beat the curve. Start paying attention to him now, because he's only going up from here. He's so young and has so much talent that there's no way he doesn't get better. Now, if you live in the tri-state area, chances are you know who Jeff McNeil is, because he was one of the hot topics of Mets radio discussion last year. Evan and Roberts, Mike Francesca, whose name I still don't know how to pronounce after all these years, Jeff McNeil is a hot topic amongst Mets fans because of how good he was and how he came out of nowhere. So I'm not sure if I have a bias that I know about him because of where I live, but I'm pretty sure he's not too widely known anywhere else. So I'm just going to work with that assumption and just go with it. Personally, I've never heard of him before 2019 in the middle of the season, and he actually performed very well this year, hitting .318, .384, and .531 with 23 homers and a WAR of 4.9. Feels like he came out of nowhere to become one of the better hitters in the Mets and a staple in their lineup. And again, he's just another guy who's just a great pure hitter. See him just continue to get better as well. So if you didn't already know about him, now you do. So keep your eye on him because he's pretty good. Surprise, we have another Met. This time it's going to be relief pitcher Seth Lugo, who's had two pretty good seasons back-to-back, 2018 and 2019. In 2019, he had a 2.70 ERA, along with 104 strikeouts and 80 innings pitched, put up a WAR of 2.4, which is pretty solid for a relief pitcher. And although the Mets bullpen was absolutely awful last year, Seth Lugo was one of the bright spots in it. Again, I don't know if it's a local bias, but I feel like nobody's heard of this guy except if you live here in the New York, New Jersey area, or if you for some reason decide to become a Mets fan and you live outside that area. I don't understand, but I'll let you rock with it. But he's been consistently good for a few years now, and I think that's enough to get him on everyone's radar. So, I doubt he's going to turn into be the next amazing reliever, but he's still good, so keep your eye on him. Next up on the list is Royals outfielder Jorge Soler, who quietly had a phenomenal year last season, hitting .265, .354, and .569, with 48 home runs and 117 RBIs, along with a WAR of 3.6. Now, defense isn't exactly his specialty, but that bat is absolutely lethal. His power is just off the charts, and since his days with the Cubs, you always kind of saw this potential, but nothing really ever came of it. But the fact that this guy hit 48 home runs in a season, playing in a stadium like Kauffman, is pretty damn impressive, and I don't know how much longer he's going to be on that team considering they're not very competitive. He's getting older by the day, 28 now, 30 soon. So if he moves to a team with a smaller stadium, imagine how much damage he'll do there. But regardless, that bat has a lot of potential, and I think it's one you guys should look out for. Next up, we have Lourdes Gurriel Jr., brother of fan favorite Eugenio Gurriel Jr. of the Houston Astros, most famously known for racist gestures and cheating, but I think this brother is a little bit better in those terms, and he has potential to be better in baseball ones as well. He put up a very strong 2019 season, hitting .277, .327, and .541 with 20 home runs, and had one of the most ridiculous hot stretches of the season last year, and although he did cool down, it was still really impressive to see, considering he's only 26 years old, and wasn't super highly ranked prospect, but is still a solid player nonetheless. Considering his very young age, I think he's only going to get better from here on out, and I think the Blue Jays are going to be a sneaky good team as well. They have a lot of young talent, and some good pitching too, so keep your eye out on that team, and this guy in particular. Up next, we have Canha of the Oakland A's, a guy who's been on my radar for a couple of years now, but he only just kind of broke out in 2019 and became a good player. And last year he hit .273, .396, and .517 with 26 home runs and a WAR of 4.3. And literally, I have no other basis of thinking he was going to be good other than the fact that he looked like he could hit pretty good. I remember when this guy first came up, I was like, you know what? He looks like he has some pop. And I guess that is kind of true now, with his first pretty good season coming at age 31. But regardless, if he can do this again next year, or this year, whenever the hell it happens, still have no idea, then he's going to be someone you're going to want to watch out for. Because as far as I know, pretty much everyone's sleeping on him, so it might be a good investment. And finally, last but not least, we have the Minnesota Twins catcher Mitch Garver, who's low-key one of the better catchers in all of baseball, definitely in the American League. And he had a great year offensively last year, hitting .273, .365, and .630, 31 home runs and a WAR of 4.1. Before last year, I'd never heard of the guy, not once in my life, and he played a little bit in 2017 and 2018 too, but he wasn't nearly as good as he was in 2019, and those stats I just mentioned, by the way, he only had 93 games played last year, and he still hit 31 home runs. That is absolutely ridiculous, especially from the catcher position. And if 2020 ever gets played, he's going to be getting a lot of love, especially if he continues to hit like that. And definitely watch out for him to shoot up and become one of the best catchers in all of baseball, if he's not already at that point. Well guys, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more MLB content. Let me know in the comment section below, what players do you think are underrated or are sleepers? And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.